Just double checking. Yep, 35. All right, so let's take a look. I wanted to do this because I felt like this was a good one for us to review for tomorrow, which is your group quiz. Let G be a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3, followed by 3 to the right, and then down 5. So horizontal shrink by 1/3. What do we do when we do a horizontal shrink by 1/3? Horizontal shrink by 1/3. What do you guys do? All the x's become what? 3x. So when that happens, I get 2 times 3x to the third minus 4 times 3x plus 1. Think about PEMDAS. Think about your order of operations. Do you multiply here first? Bless you. Or do you do the exponent? God bless you. Or do you do the exponents first? Exponents. What is 3 times 3 times 3? So this is 27x to the third. And then what's 2 times 27? 54. So I get 54x to the third minus what? 12x plus 1. Is everybody good with the first step? Okay. Second step. When I go to the right 3, what are you guys going to do when you go to the right 3? X minus 3 inside parentheses at all of the what? X's. Okay. So, Ethan, I'm going to have 54 x minus 3 cubed minus 12 times x minus 3 plus 1. What did you have to do here?
Cube the 3 or negative 3.
You had a cube x minus 3. That means you have to write it how many times?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay. Big time, yeah. And now, what do you do here? Let's do these two first.
Foil.
Foil. What do you get when you foil those?
X squared minus 6x minus 9 plus 9.
Okay. Bring down the what?
X minus 3.
Don't forget the 54 out front. Give everything an x. So let's give everything an x first. What do you get when you give everything an x?
X cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x.
Give everything a negative 3.
Minus 3x squared plus 18x minus 27.
Okay. Combine like terms. X to the third.
Minus 9x squared.
Minus 9x squared.
Plus 27x.
Plus 27x.
Minus 27.
Okay. Now what do you do with the 54? Distribute it, right?
All right.
And when you do, what do you get? 54x to the third. Okay. And then you do 54 times 9. Actually, negative 9. And what do you get there?
Negative 486.
X squared. And then what is 54 times 27?
1,458x plus 1,458x.
Yep. Then it would be minus.
1,458.
Now, we haven't touched this yet. When you distribute here, what do you get?
Negative 12x minus 36. Plus 36.
Plus 36. And then don't forget the plus 1. Okay, so let's clean this up one more time. We can't put anything else with 54x to the third. Can we put anything there? No, minus 486x squared. Put this with that. What do you get?
Sorry. Plus 1,446.
Okay, and now put this with this and that. So 37 onto that.
1,426.
All right. And now we're going to go down 5. What do you guys do when you go down 5? Everybody, you just do what? Subtract 5. So what is your final answer for this one? Now, these were humongous numbers. 54x to the third minus 486x squared plus 1,446x minus 1,431. How'd you guys do on that? That was huge. Like the numbers were big. How'd we do? Any questions? Oh, was that 26 or 21? I just realized that. This was 20. I was looking at a wrong answer, and then this was 25 or 26. There we go. Okay, are we good? I know it's snowing. All right, are we good? Any other questions on the homework? Okay, so it's funny, Mr. Wolf asked what our quiz was over, and I was like, I think it was 4-7. That's right. It was that transformation stuff, which you guys have done 100 times. All right, and then 4-8 was this graphing stuff. No graphing calculators on that part of the group quiz. Are you guys good there? All right, pass those papers in. Get your graphing calculators out. Have to have graphing calculators.
I probably should have kept all mine.
All right. So, we have used finite differences before. If the first differences are the same, then we could say the polynomial was, do you guys remember? If the first differences were all the same, it's linear. If the second differences are all the same, it's quadratic. So what do you think if the third differences are the same? Cubic. And the fourth? Quartic. Okay? And that is still true. So when the x values in a set of data are equally spaced, we can look at the y values and look at their finite differences. Recall from section 2.4 that the first this is driving me nuts. It keeps jumping. Okay, we know this is the cubic function. Not cubic, quadratic function. What's negative 3 squared? 9. What's negative 2 squared? 4. Negative 1 squared. Okay, so this is quadratic. This is a u, problem. If you find the first differences, now I always tell my students when you find the first difference, it's easier if you go 9 minus 4, 4 minus 1, 1 minus 0, 0 minus 1, and so on. And all of these, those give me my first differences. Those are not the same, so it's not linear. Then we found the second differences. I did 5 minus 3, 3 minus 1, 1 minus negative 1, which becomes plus 1, negative 1 minus negative 3, negative 1 plus 3, and negative 3 plus 5, which is 2. So they're all the same. So since the second differences were all the same, we could say this is a quadratic model. Okay? So the first thing it says here in this one is use the finite differences to determine what polynomial fits this data. Okay? So let's do this together. Let's find the first differences. So what is negative 29 minus 6? Negative 29 minus 6. Negative 35. What is 6 minus 21? Watch your sign. Negative 15. What is 21 minus 22? Negative 1. What's 22 minus 15? Just 7. What's 15 minus 6? 9. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys are giving me some crazy numbers. All right. Are the first differences the same? No. So it's not linear. So we're going to go on and we're going to find the second differences. So we're going to do 35 minus negative 15. If you subtract a negative, it becomes plus. So what's negative 35 plus 15? Negative 20. Same thing here. Negative 15 minus negative 1, that becomes negative 15 plus 1. Negative 14. Negative 1 minus 7. Negative 8. 7 minus 9. All right. The second difference is the same. So is it quadratic? No. All right. Negative 20 minus negative 14, which means plus 14. Negative 6. Negative 14 minus negative 8. Negative 6. Negative 8 minus negative 2. So what can you tell me about the third differences? They're the same. So it is what? Cubic. All right, so we've determined what type of polynomial, the degree of the polynomial. It says determine the degree. The degree would be cubic. Then use technology to find the function. All right, so this is where we go back, and we're going to go to our calculator. And how do I enter that back into here? This is from a long time. We've done it twice, and now we did it in chapter 1 and 2. Well, first we go to, how do I enter the table? Stat. And then what? Not yet. Edit. You got to put this list in here. So how do I clear what I have in there? Up, clear down. Up, clear down. Does everybody's calculator have list 1 and list 2? If it doesn't, remember you go stat, number 5, setup editor. Okay? But we have list 1 and list 2. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to enter this list. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, up. Try it again. I'll just do it up here. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And then over here, make sure it's paired with its partner. All right, has everybody got it entered? Now, when we went to find the model, what did we do? Stat. Calc. Now, which one did they want us to find? We said it was what? Cubic. So we're going to go to number 6 and press enter. And then go down to calculate. I just hit enter again. And it gives you the model. It says ax to the third plus bx squared plus cx plus d. And it tells you here's a, b, c, and d. So what's my model that you would put on the equation or on the test? Y equals what? -1x cubed minus 7x squared minus 7x plus 21. And there's your model. Now, don't clear your data yet because I want to show you something you could do besides finding all those differences. Because finding those differences is annoying. Would you agree that finding those differences is annoying? Okay, so here's what we could do. Watch. You have your data. Pretend we did not find all the first, second, and third differences. Can we just pretend we didn't do that? If you go to stat, go to edit, and enter your list. We don't know if it's linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic. We don't know what it is. So you're going to run all of them. And you're going to go stat, calc, and you're going to run a linear regression. Okay, and when you run the linear regression, you are going to look at the r squared value. We're going to compare all of the r squareds. So so this is where I come off to the side, and I can see it on my paper. I literally wrote linear r squared equals what? Do you guys have r? Oh, do you not have r squared? No. Okay, if you don't have r squared, how do we get that back? Let's clear second catalog. Catalog's above the 0. Now remember, we have the alpha lock on. So we got to go to D. D is above the -1. And go to diagnostic on. So everybody probably needs to do this because I reset your calculators. So go to diagnostic on. Hit enter and enter. Did everybody do that? Second catalog, D, diagnostic on. All right, because you have to have that on. Everybody got that turned on? Now let's go back to stat, calc, and we said let's run linear. Enter, enter. And did you get r? Now do you have r squared? Oh, everybody have r squared? Okay, so now what is the linear r squared value? It's 0.33. All right, so write that down. You know, you're going to literally, when you're doing this, and we'll do it on the next one here, write it down. And then you're going to go back, and you're going to go stat, calc, and you're going to run the quadratic one. Enter, number 5. Quadratic is 5. Stat, calc, number 5. Quartic is 7. 5 is quadratic. Hit enter. Okay, what is your quadratic r squared? Okay, r squared is 0.9637. All right, so which one's better so far? If I were to pick between these two, remember, the closer to 1, the better the regression. So right now I'm picking linear, closer to 1. Quadratic. So now we're going to do stat calc, number 6, which is cubic. Run your cubic. Okay, what is your cubic regression? 1. Now, I am going to show you quartic for a reason in a minute here. Okay, is everybody good with cubic? Okay, and let's do quartic. So stat, calc, and let's do number 7, which is quartic. And if you notice that arrow says to go what? Down. What's the r squared value on quartic? It's also what? 1. However, if I were to write this equation, let's look at this. Notice what A is. Now be very careful. Look all the way across. E -12. What does that mean? 0.000000000000226. What's the value of A?
0.
0, right? If you have point, you have to move this decimal 12 places to the left, right? So that would be 11 zeros and then the 2. So this number is 0. So isn't A 0? If A is 0, do you have an x to the 4th value? So is it quartic? No, because you don't have an x to the 4th, okay? So it's not quartic. It's what? Cubic. So that's where you go back, rerun your cubic, and write down your cubic model. Okay, so you can do it either way. You can use your first, second, third, fourth differences. You can use your calculator. This will be on the calculator part of the test tomorrow. Thoughts? All right, now let's go to example 2. Notice, guys, this is like a continuation. I couldn't fit it all. Okay, so this is the second part of the table. Okay, so the data shows the number of bald eagles Y in nests T years after 2000. Find a model. It doesn't tell you what type of model. It just says find a model. Use the model to estimate the number of bald eagle nests in 2015. Okay, perfect. So first we're going to go to our graphing calculator and we got to enter both of these, all of that listed. So I'm going to go to what? Stat, edit, and I'm going to enter 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 14, 17. So up, clear, down, over, up, clear, down. And then I'm going to enter all how many there were. And if I were doing this on my test, I would run through and double check that I entered this correctly, or have two people doing it at the same time. Make sure you're getting the same numbers. Okay? So I entered my data. How do I know what model to do? Well, I'm going to run regressions for what? Linear and quadratic and cubic and quartic. And I'm going to find the R squareds for each of these. And I'm going to write them down so I don't forget what they are. So I'm going to go stat, calc. So the first one I'm going to do number what? 4. Enter. What'd you guys get for R squared for linear? Did you get 0.8613? 0.8613. Did everybody get that? Then we're going to go stat, calc, and number 5, cubic or quadratic. And I got 0.9467. 0.9467. So far, which one's the best? Quadratic. Okay, now we're going to do stat, calc, 6. And I got 0.9569. 0.9569. So now which one's better? Cubic. And then I'm going to go stat, calc, 7. And go down. You guys getting the same values I'm getting?
Yeah.
Okay. And I got 0.9876. 0.9876. So which one's the best model? Quartic. All right. So then it says find the model. So I'm going to go back up so I can get all of them. So here's the beginning part of it. Here's the bottom. Yours, I think you guys don't have to do that. The older calculators, you have to kind of scroll up and down. All right. So what's the model? Well, it'd be y equals what? What's A? It's okay that it's point what? 0 to x to the 4th. I'm going to have to probably slide that down here. And then plot minus what? 0.73x to the 3rd plus 7.79x squared minus 11.03x plus 69.71. Okay, wowzers. So it gave me the model. It gave me A, B, C, D, and E. I'm not done. Now, in order to make predictions, I've got to put this all in a graph. So I'm going to go to y equals, And I'm going to clear out anything I have, and you have to turn what on? Turn your plot on. And now how do I get that equation in here? VARS. Number 5, statistics. Equation. And a regression equation is what that stands for. Now, if I graph, it's going to graph from a negative 10, 10, because that's what we graphed yesterday. Oh, yeah. Which zoom do I use when I do all this stuff? Zoom what? Not 6. 9. You're zooming with your statistics. Zoom 9. All right. Now, according to my equation, it's a 4th degree polynomial with a positive leading coefficient. What should my ends do? Are they both going up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, it wants to know how many bald eagles we will have in 2015. What is X in 2015? If X is the number of years since 2000, what is X? 15. So if we know X, what do we do? Second calc value. It's saying, what do you want me to let X be? 15. You guys good over there? I'm sure it's all the calculator's fault. And what do we have? How many bald eagles? Could you have a half a bald eagle?
No.
So it'd be 2000 and I would round up, but I could see where you guys round down.
It's just 200.
Bald.
200?
It rounds up 205.5.
Well, you said 2,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. 206. Questions? Did you figure what you did wrong? Did you enter something wrong, Mitch?
Holy nine.
Okay.
Oh my no.
So, here's a couple things. Your homework tonight. You are going to do the review. I got a couple things to pass out to you right now. Okay? You are going to do the review that is posted on Schoology. So, if you go to today, I want to show you this so that everybody knows what they have to do tonight. Okay, right here. Review blank, review key. You are to click on this. And this goes up here, remember? Did it go there? There it is. This is your homework right here. Okay, do these problems. Okay, it says graphing calculator part. Graphing calculator is permitted. And it tells you what to do. Okay, you can do those. And no graphing calculators on these parts. But you can use, when it says no graphing calculators, you will have the red calculator. So I don't care if you use like just the home buttons there. Don't use any of the graphing buttons. Okay? Then your group quiz is tomorrow. I'm going to show you your groups today too in a minute. Second thing I'm going to pass out to you. What do you see up on the board that you have due on Friday? Practice exam numbers 1 through 15. Now, guys, I know it has been a while since we have done some of this. You may not come in and tell me I didn't know how to do numbers 1 to 5, 8. Look it up. Look it up. Go back, find your practice tests and practice quizzes because all of these have come from there. Or your old quizzes and your old tests. Okay? This is the practice exam. This is your exam. Okay? I promise you this is your exam. There's 27 questions on your exam, I believe. I'll double check, but I'm almost positive it's exactly the same number of questions. So, I have given you everything for the rest of the semester. Okay? Schoology review tonight. Group quiz tomorrow. Homework tomorrow night, numbers 1 through 15. Homework Friday night, numbers 16 through 27. Separate sheet of paper. Do you guys see that at the top? Don't tell me I did some here, some there. I'm going to pick up your notebook paper and go 1 through 15 on Friday. All right, groups. You guys want to see your groups? These are your groups for Monday, or not Monday, tomorrow. Now, these will change if anybody's absent. So if anybody's absent tomorrow, I'm going to have to manipulate these. I'll go ahead and stop my recording.